Hello everybody, this is blitzdoughnuts. Today I'm here to present something. A presentation, if you will. What is Suckless, and why do I dislike it? You may hear in some of my quick reviews that I toss around the term Suckless a little bit, particularly in my ANARCH quick review. It was built to be simple, built to be libre, built to conform to what I personally see as the fascist way of programming known as Suckless, the less in quotes, blitzdoughnuts, and our quick review. It's hard to believe that you're such a retarded motherfucker, you'd fall for this bullshit. Blitzdoughnuts, big line as hells. The latter example also shows the Suckless philosophy page with the caption, removes all user convenience and chances for wider appeal, sucks less. As shown here. So, what is this presentation made with? Scent, a presentation program, farm-fed, and uncompressed but easy to compress image format, no video editing, this is all done in one take. Yes, I will mess up here, I'm not a good speaker. Also, this is a second take. Well, a third take because I fucked up the first one. The second take, I messed up simply because, for some reason, YouTube doesn't mix down audio tracks on MKVs. OBS for recording, and mousepad from XFCE for typing the presentation. The first two programs are made by the Suckless organization. Yes, that's hypocritical. Haha. Funny. What is Suckless? Suckless as a philosophy is essentially the Unix philosophy. Makes software that does one thing very well, and cuts the bullshit down while doing so. Usually there's a few footnotes to keep in mind when making Suckless software. Keep your software simple. Keep your dependencies low. Keep your virginity intact. Joking, it's just a prank, bro, haha. And keep your purposes individual. The quality of programs is not dictated by the amount of code. It's by the size and the efficiency. So why do I dislike Suckless? Don't get me wrong here. Suckless is good. It's ideal of keeping software simple and efficient is a great idea. I just have some gripes with both the philosophy itself and two certain softwares I decided to note. Number 1, Systemd. I heard people don't like Systemd because while it is following the Unix philosophy, it forgets one important part. Don't work alone, work with other programs. Systemd does a lot of things individually, which technically violates the Unix philosophy. And because of this, people have decided to make their own little bootloaders, aside from Systemd, either because of the Unix philosophy violations due to size or efficiency, or other miscellaneous reasons. Number 2, ANARCH. ANARCH is one of the few, if not the only games I know of to be programmed sucklessly. Here is a screenshot taken by Drummyfish. It's public domain, and this is number 1 in the media folder. One problem of mine with it is its lack of file I/O for asset loading, which actually wouldn't be too bad, and actually a great idea for isolating a program if Python was as portable to use as TCC is. The thing with TCC is that, at least if you get it on Windows, you don't have to install it on a USB drive in order to use it. You can just use it with a batch file or through command line or something else. Python is a little less fortunate. At least I had issues with it myself. Also, this forum post on Free Game Dev's old forums, started by Drummyfish, was what heavily swayed my opinion on Suckless. If you don't know, Drummyfish is the author of ANARCH. Let me read the influential pieces out. On December 31st, 2020, Drummyfish posted a thread on Free Game Dev titled Suckless Libre Games? After a half dozen of posts debating and discussing, one man named OnPon4 made a post on the thread. Cut down from my argument, it goes as follows. I find Suckless philosophy to be terribly lacking and short-sighted. It seems to be nothing more than conservative elitism which arbitrarily rejects modern ideas as things that suck. The only common thread I can see is that it seems to reject anything which makes the lives of users easier, as if salty about the fact that they don't have a special place atop a computer user's hierarchy, and seeking to re-establish that sort of inequality. Supposed justifications for the philosophy are entirely incoherent, as I'd like to demonstrate below. C99 is the most portable, efficient, and suckless language, says Drummyfish. Is it really though? I'm pretty sure the most portable language is clearly JavaScript. It can run literally everywhere since that's what it's designed to do. As for speed, C++ performance is generally the same as C performance, and in both cases this depends on you, the developer, spending many hours doing very basic things. If your game can run without floating point, it most likely can, only use integers. Many CPUs, embedded ones at least, do not have floating point code processors, and floating point operations are slow there, says Drummyfish. How prevalent is this really? FPUs have been standard for decades at this point. For any computer which has one, re-implementing floats with confusing integer representations is likely to lead to a slower implementation. And if you don't need floats to begin with, then you're not using floats anyway because of the fact that floats are inherently imprecise. Also, this is an incredibly tiny portion of what affects performance in a game. It quite frankly doesn't matter in the bigger picture. Do not use config files. Write configuration and settings right in the source code, e.g. in a special settings.h file. Remember, your game recompiles in less than a second with a single command. This strikes me as horrible advice. It means suddenly, developer tools, a compiler at the very least, are now a dependency. Regardless of how easy it is for you to recompile, how exactly do you expect this to be user-friendly on Windows or Android? For example, don't you hate it when you find a game that is completely Libre, but you still cannot compile it because some of the dozens of dependencies is broken? Says Drummyfish. I can't say I've ever experienced that. What I've usually experienced is code that doesn't follow language standards and then at some point stops compiling as a result. Usually when this happens, someone will take over and fix these problems. It may require a little more effort from you, but in the end it pays off much more, as it will be like the legendary Doom, resisting decades and technological changes to always be there for the people, says Drummyfish. You do realize that Doom had to be ported, right? And I used hardware acceleration? It was a AAA game at its time, with groundbreaking graphics. It's hardly an example of the suckless philosophy, as you describe it. If anything, Doom's success is an example of why the suckless philosophy, as you describe it, makes no sense. An example of why the philosophy as you describe it makes no sense. End of recap. According to this post, Suckless removes user convenience by forgoing configuration files entirely and putting the options into the source code, and points out that even without adhering to Suckless, you can still design quality software that can be put onto several platforms and stand the test of time. And that is my presentation. Thank you for listening. This is very divergent from the content I usually make, but at the same time it is not. Bye-bye.